From all across the world have come stories of inexplicable monsters roaming lakes. These creatures have been a range of different shapes and sizes and appear to defy any kind of rational explanation. As bizarre as the concept of lake monsters is by itself, the strangest thing is that they have been shown to turn up at just about any lake. It doesn't seem to matter if the lake in question has the ability to support such a large underwater beast or not. The creature will somehow appear, defying any kind of sense. While these lake monsters are sure to try the patience of those attempting to understand and make sense of them, the most perplexing examples of lake monsters are those that turn up in man-made lakes, that is to say, lakes that were created recently by human hands. Even though the lakes are unnatural, it appears that monsters still find a way to appear and breed there. Why does that happen? And what could be causing it? Today we'll be looking at 5 of the strangest lake monster encounters. Number 5. The Lake Normie monster. Perhaps the most famous case of a lake monster inhabiting a man-made lake is the story of the Lake Normie monster, which is said to inhabit Lake Normie in North Carolina, USA. Normie Lakes was created by the Duke Power Plant between 1959 and 1964 when the Cowan's Fort hydroelectric station was built along the Catawba River. The plant was built to provide the Piedmont region of the North Carolina mountains with electricity, and it would go on to be used by the Marshall Steam Station and the McGuire nuclear plant to keep their steam-driven turbines cool. Upon its completion, Lake Normie was the largest man-made body of water in North Carolina, spanning over 32,500 acres with over 500 miles of shoreline. The lake became a hotbed for boaters, fishermen, swimmers, and anyone else looking for outdoor recreation at the lake and the adjacent Lake Normie State Park. It has also become known for bizarrely allegedly housing a massive water beast known as the Lake Normie monster. People have reported encountering a creature for decades. They describe the creature as being anything from a kind of reptile like a crocodile, to a creature with thick fur like a seal and fins, to a kind of giant fish. Then there are the sightings of something that resembles a traditional lake monster, a humped sea serpent. Most of these sightings are of the creature just swimming passively through the water, but there have been some incidents that paint the creature as being more aggressive. There was the incident of a scuba diver who claimed he had been attacked by the creature, which bit his flipper. Another report was made by a man who claimed that the monster had brushed against him as he was jet skiing, and that it left behind a slimy substance on his skin that caused a rash. Perhaps the best known story of Lake Normie monster is the story of Camel of Maiden, North Carolina. About 10 years ago in high school, some friends and I were jumping from the Duke Power Trestle. We had been there for about 2 hours and making a lot of noise. I went to dive in and decided to make a huge splash. When I rose to the surface, everyone was like, "Get out of the water," yelling and screaming like something was after me. I shrugged it off, and then after realizing that the water 20 feet behind me was rippling, I decided to swim like crazy. I reached the surface and climbed up to the rocks to see a giant shadow under the water. It was at least 14 feet long. It surfaced a little more before finally going down. It had to be an alligator gar, but I couldn't imagine the fish getting that big. It looked like 2 people holding onto each other swimming, so who knows what it was. Needless to say, I haven't been back to jump from the trestle anymore. Reports like this continued to appear until very recently. There was a strange spate of sightings during 2006 and 2007. The first such report happened on January the 22nd, when Jeffrey Fengo was at the lake with his brother. They were on the shore preparing to go fishing when they heard something splashing in the water by them. They looked at the source of the splashing and reportedly saw a huge fish, they said, was the size of a shark or a dolphin, and then it had a huge black tail. Another report came on February the 1st. This report was made by a man by the name of Shane Quinn. Shane claimed that he saw a giant fish pulling ducks under the water, one at a time. Another report of the creature came in on August the 21st of that year. This time, 2 fishermen spotted a creature swimming at the surface of the water. They described the creature as having a striped, squirmy tail and eyes that were the size of basketballs. A man known only by the name Tyler from Fox River Grove in Illinois reported a sighting of Normie in 2007. Tyler says that he was tubing in the lake and fell off of his tube. He was wading in the water for the boat to come back and pick him up when he saw a serpent-like head rise 5 feet out of the water, around 40 yards away from where he was. He panicked and quickly swam back towards the boat. The driver of the boat reports seeing the creature too and says that it disappeared back under the water when Tyler climbed onto the boat. Another man claims to have spotted a 10-foot-long creature similar to a dinosaur splashing around in the water of the lake while boating with friends. There have been plenty of other sightings of the creature too, so there's no end of reports if you're interested. Given that Lake Norman is man-made, it seems almost impossible that there would be any kind of creature living there, let alone one that resembles a dinosaur or some other giant creature. Even so, there are several theories about what the creature may be, if indeed it does exist. Perhaps the most popular explanation for the creature is that it is some kind of catfish that was introduced to the lake and grew to gigantic proportions. This theory has been fueled by reports from divers and fishermen who report seeing massive catfish the size of cars in the water, especially near the dam. There are other theories about the creature, including that it could be an out-of-place alligator, Asian carp, or an introduced sturgeon. These are all animals that might be large and alien enough in appearance to startle people who saw them in the lake and didn't know what they were. There are more absurd theories, of course, including the idea that it's some kind of mutated abomination created by the radiation from the nuclear plant, or perhaps a prehistoric monster prowling subterranean caves beneath the lake. There's no real physical evidence that the creature exists, so it's difficult to ascertain just what it is. For now though, the monster has gone on to become a part of local lore, and is known affectionately by the name Normie, after Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. Number 4. The Raystown Sightings. A creature that is almost as famous as the Norman Lake Monster is the creature that lurks below the waters of Raystown Lake in Huntington County, Pennsylvania, USA. The Raystown Lake is the largest lake in all of Pennsylvania and was created in 1905 to establish the Raystown Dam hydroelectric plant. The dam was later destroyed and the lake as we know it was completed in 1973 by the United States Army Corps of Engineers for the purposes of controlling floods in the area, providing electricity, and of course for recreational activities like swimming, boating, biking, fishing, and scuba diving to boost tourism to the area. Sightings of a creature in the lake started up near the original dam, where there were several reports of large shadowy shapes lurking under the water in 1962. Boaters at the lake frequently reported having something bump up against their boat, as well as reports of sudden turbulence in the water for inexplicable reasons. There were also some more dramatic reports, including reports of a monstrous serpentine creature alleged to be around 60 feet long with a huge neck and reptilian head. The creature was said to be the reason that the annual Raystown Ski Water Club show was cancelled one year. It was alleged that many witnesses saw the creature prowling around the ramps that the water skiers would use to jump. The monster has since earned the name Raystown Ray, and there's been plenty of speculation as to what the creature could really be. It's speculated that it's some kind of overgrown eel or fish. A Raystown Lake biologist by the name of Jeff Krause provided his own thoughts on the beast, saying the following: "I believe it must be a herbivore. We have not seen any evidence of this animal taking fish, geese, otters or ducks, so I would suggest that our swimmers and boaters are very safe. It appears this animal's habits are similar to manatees, which are completely herbivorous and gentle. The increase of weed beds around the lake is probably providing more food in the shallows for herbivores, and that would increase sightings. Considering that even Raystown Ray has fallen victim to commercialism, where you can buy all manner of merchandise including t-shirts, patches and postcards, and the fact the lake was never the tourist destination it was intended to be without him. This does have the hallmarks of being a massive publicity stunt. Even so, a number of sightings of the creature have been made by supposedly reliable witnesses, so who can say for sure? There is minimal evidence at best, although there are some photos that allegedly show Ray in action. These photos all appear to be inconclusive at best, so take them with a pinch of salt. Number 3. The Harem and Creature. Another man-made lake that seems to have its own purported lake monster is the Harem Reservoir, which is found in Windham County, Kentucky. It's said that the lake is home to a bizarre creature. The lake itself was created back in 1965 when the Dix River was dammed. The creature of Harem Reservoir is said to resemble an eel and is around 15 feet long. It has a head that looks like a hog, as well as a curly tail. The creature is known for being able to swim at incredible speeds. Some reports say that it can easily match the speeds of speedboats. It is said to be something of a shy creature that likes to stay near the dam by itself and rarely shows the public more than its pick-like snout sticking out of the surface of the water of the reservoir. The appearance of this monster sounds bizarre enough as it is, but there was another sighting back in 2015 that suggested the creature was a typical lake monster after all. Local witness Martin Kassendorf recounted how he heard his dog barking one day at the lake. He looked out and saw a 6-humped serpent of some kind out offshore. Here's the encounter in his own words. Each hump was about 6 inches to a foot apart. It was a nice sunny afternoon, and the surface of the lake was calm. I could see the water lapping against them. At this point, the hump started moving and submerged. Then a few yards to the right, I saw something straight, like a log, and brown moving quickly through the water. If it was a log, it was a log with a motor on it. This creature swam straight out of the surface like a fast-propelled log. When it submerged, the whole body sank down at once, rather than the head diving down and the tail sticking up. And I didn't see any feet, just a snake-like body. Much like every other creature out there, there are a number of theories about the Harem Reservoir creature. These theories have included it being some remnant of an ancient species which was trapped in the lake after the dam was built. An unknown creature living among the subterranean caverns and limestone caves that may be at the bottom of the lake. Some kind of introduced species, or just otters swimming together in a line. The reality is, no one knows just what it is, assuming it exists. Number 2. Thunderbird. Perhaps the most bizarre story of a creature living in a man-made lake comes from Lake Thunderbird, which is in Oklahoma, USA. The lake is a reservoir in Norman, Oklahoma. It was completed in 1965 and was built to provide water to Midwest City, Cap City and Norman. The name of the lake comes from the Native American legend of the Thunderbird. The massive lake is supposedly plagued with an uncommonly large number of drownings. These drownings are often blamed on an alleged creature thought to inhabit the lake. One of the most mysterious things about this creature is that it is also said to live in a nearby Lake Tenkiller and Lake Ulaga, which are also man-made lakes. Number 1. Oklahoma octopus. There has been a number of reports of a mysterious creature living in the lake over the years. It is said to be some kind of incredibly large octopus with red-brown leathery skin and tentacles. This has earned the creature the name the Oklahoma octopus. Many believe the octopus to be the culprit behind the number of drownings and deaths associated with Lake Thunderbird. There has been a number of stories of the creature, including a report from 2007 of a boy drifting far away from the shore. The boy struggled and shouted that something was pulling him into the lake. Stories like this only fuel the legend of the creature, along with all the other reported sightings of the Oklahoma octopus. One of the most interesting accounts of the creature comes from someone who goes by the name Trey, who made this comment on the Discovery Channel website. I believe this octopus is real. I've seen it with my own eyes at a very young age. I do believe in it, but I do not believe it is an octopus. I think it is some sort of sea serpent. One day, me and my family were at Lake Thunderbird, and we were packing up and starting to head home. Before we started walking to the car, I looked at the water one last time, and what I saw was unusual. I saw a long orange wavy creature pop out of the water. I could not see its head, as it had just put its head back in the water as I turned back to look. I tried to tell my family what I saw, but only my mother believed me. She caught a glimpse of the creature as well. I had no idea what I was witnessing. I had never heard of the Oklahoma octopus at that time, so it was not my imagination playing tricks on me. I do not know what I saw. Whether it was the tentacle of an orange octopus or a sea serpent, it was a terrifying experience. The creature has been considered to be a kind of gigantic freshwater octopus. Despite this explanation, there is almost no evidence to back up the idea that such a creature does exist, if indeed it ever has.